It happened again. The game took a billion turns. I faced Critic this week in BDL. It was a good time, a long time. It was time. As you can see, I might have lost. Uh, I might have lost. You know, you hate to see it, but you also love to see it, because I think I played the match well, and I think I've learned something about the team. This loss has only made me stronger. Anyway, looking at Critic's team, you see his big threats are Gallade, Zeraora, Hydreigon. I tried to address those. Zeraora gets hardwalled by Chestnut. I should have probably brought Leech Seed so I could abuse the switches that I got from Chestnut. But I didn't, which kinda cost me a bit. But, you know, it still did its job. I have Taunt Spikes here. I just threw in a bit of speed just so I could beat any Wheezing trying to creep my speed. And I believe it also crept Vaporeon by a couple points. Which was just, just in case. Had a pretty good matchup overall. But I kind of played it a bit too aggressively. I definitely thought, oh, I can taunt Wheezing, I won't take that much from it. But, I because of that, I thought, oh, I can taunt him, he can't default my spikes, but... Well, we'll see. Then there was a Gallade. My counterplay to this was weird. Most people would just say bring Colbur Mew. I wanted Mew to be able to taunt Vanillux, stop Veil from going up, generally do a lot of damage, get rocks up very consistently, threaten out his defogger, which I knew pretty much was gonna be Wheezing. His hazard control is pretty poor overall. I'm pretty sure he just has Wheezing and Staraptor and Hydreigon as defoggers. I think Sandslash gets Rapid Spin as well. Otherwise, my plan against Gallade was send Zapdos in, and then, because I knew that Rock Slide wouldn't 2-hit KO, I thought he would bring Triple Axle Gallade, which would then kill from CC into Zen. Sorry, no, like Zen into Triple Axle or CC into Triple Axle. So I have Helmet Pex here. This does end up helping a lot, but not against Gallade, which I was kind of hoping I would be able to do. Because obviously Gallade would take 50%, it has to hit 3 times. And then because of that, it would be very scared. It would probably click Zen Headbutt, I'd be able to click Baneful Bunker, and all of a sudden it's put on this really short timer. I can click Recover on one turn. Even if it clicks Zen Headbutt, then it takes Rocky Helmet damage, it takes poison damage. I don't take much. And then that turn after, I can go straight back to Zapdos if it's still healthy. Get that next turn of poison, and then I can just go back to Pex so it's on full from regen. And then for Hydreigon, I had Sylveon, just a pretty hard counter, great to just switch in. I played it a bit too aggressively, like for Chestnut, which I definitely suffered for. This was just so I didn't lose to Nasty Plot, which his team definitely could have, especially if he brought Earth Power for Pex. But Draco obviously did do a lot. Then, in terms of an actual win con, this team didn't really have one, I feel. It was kind of... yeah. I definitely have learnt from building this team specifically that I can't just play around my opponent being their own demise. Because, look, my main counterplay to most of his team was they hit Pex with Helmet, which definitely kind of limits my options otherwise. Pex is a fine win con to have, I think, but I need better supporting tools for it. So when I have Scarf Tauros here, this was my win con. Megahorn kind of went in it, Oko Torterra, Oko Hydreigon, Earthquake did a lot to Marowak, did a lot to Zeraora if I could catch it, and Body Slam just did huge to pretty much everything that wasn't an immunity. And then I had Work Up just to try to bluff that I was maybe mixed, to possibly scare off Sandslash if he'd brought it. But I didn't really expect him to bring Sandslash. I do still have Mega Scizor, so I thought maybe he just wouldn't bring Hail at all. But I did still want to prep for that just with Taunt. But at no point in the match did I actually reveal Scarf until the end. But anyway, let's just get into the match itself. He brings this lineup, kind of expected. I knew he'd bring his big 3 threats. I knew Wheezing would be a defaulter because I have quite a few rock options. Marowak was definitely a good bring against me, but it kind of gets walled by Pex if it doesn't have a ground move. And otherwise, Zapdos can do a decent job if it's not Lightning Rod. But it was still strong. I kind of expected it, but I thought I could just offensively pressure it with Tauros, with Drill Peck from Zapdos, with Scald in general. And then Ice Cream Cone over here, Vanillux. It was definitely, I had prepped for it, but it definitely did a lot against me. But let's just see how this goes. So he leads Hydreigon, I lead Mew. Because of that, I sort of realized, okay, this is Scarf. I just go Pex, punish for U-turn. I tell him immediately I'm Helmet, which I think is fine. He does Vanillux here, which he kind of just gets free Veil for. He taunts because I want to try to at least Toxic. And I forgot it actually got Taunt, which definitely slowed down the game a lot. Just me and this Vanillux taunting each other to day's ends. But after he taunted me here, I just have to go back to Mew. He gets Veil up. I don't have any sort of default, so this just has to stay up, so I get Rocks up instead. He Toxics me, which means that he's now Toxic because of Synchronize. And then he does Wheezing to try to defog. I just Roost, expecting possibly a Freeze Dry. I just want to see what his last move was if he had it. I just taunt this, prevent the defog from happening. Just because I like to have Rocks up. I then go Zapdos here. On, I think I was expecting Marowak? I don't know. Anyway, I go Zapdos. He goes Hydreigon. He doubles into Zeraora. I click Thunder Wave. He gets the heal. Then I just go my counter. It does 13%, which you might think is normal. This is actually banded damage, which I learnt pretty quickly after I just checked the calc. And here is where I would have loved to have Leech Seed. I taunt here because I still, on this turn specifically, I hadn't calced for Bulk Up. So I assumed it probably was because he had Veil, but it wasn't. So then I switched Sylveon here for the reason of I wanted to get the Toxic off of Mew. So I click Heal Bell. He gets a Sludge Bomb Poison, which is very big. It means that I can't Wish Protect here, because the combined Sludge Bomb into poison damage has a chance of killing. He defogs, I just get Mew back in, so I can get Rocks up again. Brings Aurora in. I go Pex. He Volt switches. I don't know why I go Pex here instead of Chestnut. Probably because I just don't like giving Wheezing more turns than it needs. Because Wheezing would definitely be able to just come back in and then get another bit of chip on either Chestnut or possibly Sylveon. Which is already basically dead here. There's not really a mon it can come in on and actually live an attack from. Unless Hydreigon's choice into a dragon move, which it probably won't until Sylveon dies. So yeah, he Volt switches, goes back to this. I just go Mew, anticipating possibly Taunt. He Veils this time. He just goes back to Zeraora under Veil. I Roost. Just still wanting to see what his last move is. I just go Chestnut again. Once again, I'd love to Leech Seed here on the Wheezing coming in. But I just Spiked and then Taunt. He is smart here, he goes for a Flamethrower. So then I go Zapdos. And he Flamethrower and instantly burns me. Which does probably matter. I was definitely unhappy about it, I thought it would be fine. But the fact that I was Boots here, because I sort of expected him to bring a Rocket, which I mean he technically did with Marowak, but it wasn't a Rock set. Kind of was really rough. So I just Roost here. He just sludge bombs. I'm just trying to stall out Veil. He obviously defogs. I just go for Thunder Wave, try to see what he wants to stay in. I kind of expected Zero Aura that turn because I thought he might predict my electric move. He defogs the rocks, his Veil goes down, I just roost again. I go back to Chestnut. He Volt switches, does 13%. Go Tide Dragon here. I go Pex, I want to try to wish up Sylveon at some point, and I kind of expect U-turn instead of any actual offensive move. I just go back to Chestnut on this. I should have possibly made the prediction here of actually going for a Toxic on that turn, which honestly would have probably gotten me a lot of ground, but Banded Plasma Fist did kill me at that range, and I didn't want to risk that at all. So Dragon comes back in, I do Sylveon this time, he just keeps on clicking U-turn. Gets this back in. He just taunts me, which means I can't get a Heal Bell off or Wish, which is very rough for me. It means that now this is just completely dead. I just preserve it for a sack later if I need it. And I just do Zapdos here. And then I double back into Sylveon just to see what he does, sacking Sylveon just in case. He does Zero Aura. It means that I can go Pex now that I'm guaranteed to live a Plasma Fists. He actually clicks it, so I get the poison from Baneful, which is very useful. He Plasma Fists again, gets the Helmet Chip. Then I recover this turn and get poison. This is kind of exactly what I wanted to do with Gallade, but it's happening with Zero Aura here. And then I believe I switch out to, Chestnut. And I just don't really want to risk doing another switch into Pex, so I basically just sack it. Zapdos comes in on the Gallade. I Thunder Wave, heal the Zero Aura. I kind of feel like I had to there. I still didn't know what spread the Gallade was at all. And getting it parried would have definitely opened up Tauros a lot, because, as I've shown, I wasn't actually as fast as I possibly could have been. I was just outspeeding a base 100s. So I just roost on the Zero Aura. It doesn't matter if he knocks my boots. Hydreigon just goes for a Scarf Draco. I go for another roost, kind of knowing that no matter what he went for there, I would live it. Then here I go Mew. I knew he would switch, and I felt Mew was fine. I just go Pex on the knockoff there, and it leaves Zero Aura on 1%, which I'm really not happy about, but it does mean that Pex can Baneful on it once and kill it, which is useful. I just recover that turn, and then I just start scalding this. In the straight 1v1, Pex wins this, so I just decide to stay in. He does Zero Aura to sack. I Toxic, expecting him that turn to switch, but he sacks Zero Aura, which is a good idea. Then he brings Vanillux. I have to just read the Freeze Dry. It would have definitely done a lot, especially because Pex was burnt. He gets his Marowak in. I just click Psychic. I just want to get some chip. I learn his Curse Body, and then he Flare Blitz and does an awful lot to me, which was it was just a mistake on Critic's part actually getting that, but either way, I mean, I got Curse Bodied out of my Psychic damage, which is annoying. So he just Rock Slides here. I think I'm just trying to stall Veil out again, so I'm just roosting. He Poltergeist finally. And then I get the boy, Tauros in. And then I just double straight into Pex, because I know that I kind of want to play it like it is Scarf right now, because I definitely want to bluff Scarf against Gallade. So he just Flare Blitz on the Pex. I know for a fact he cannot hit me, because he's already knocked my item earlier with Zero Aura, which means that Poltergeist can't actually hit, so he doesn't really do much. So I know that I just get 3 turns to play Scald here again. The Weezing just comes straight back in. It gets defogging on the rocks, which does preserve Marowak. I just keep on Scalding though, no reason not to. Then I switch because I have pretty much full health for Regenerator. I try to get some HP on Zapdos. The Weezing keeps on getting to attack with being paralyzed. I'm pretty sure it doesn't get full parried once, which was very annoying. Which means Hydreigion's allowed to come in and just kill with Draco. And now at this position, this is definitely the big point of the game. I am still in a potential winning position. If Gallade it dies, Pex wins. As long as I'm able to keep on high enough health to live one Draco, then I will win. So I bring Tauros in, bluffing that I am Scarf, which forces Hydreigon out into Marowak. I click Body Slam. It's immune. I just say that beforehand. And I expect on this turn for him to go, as soon as he goes Marowak, I'm thinking, okay, he's seen I've Body Slammed. I cannot, like, from Critic's perspective, I cannot allow Pex back in to get a recover off. Like, to be able to start stalling out again, because I don't want to be able to risk Gallade getting burnt with Scald and then losing the game because of that. So from this position, I would have predicted the Pex switch in, because for all I know, how I've played this Tauros, it is Scarf, because I switched it out beforehand, I brought it in on the Hydreigon. I would expect Pex to come in, and because of that, I would expect Gallade. I would bring Gallade in. So because of that, because I'm Life Orb, my Body Slam always OHKO'd Gallade without any investment, and had a high chance of OHKOing with investment. But even with the investment he had, it meant that he wouldn't be able to live because I'd be able to Baneful Bunker one of his moves, and then kill him with the poison afterwards. So because of that, I think that the best play here is Body Slam. Because then because if he brings Gallade in and he doesn't immediately calc, he might just think Tauros is like Adamant Scarf, and then bring Hydreigon, actually no, yeah, no matter what, he kind of realizes that I'm slower than Hydreigon. But at that point it doesn't matter, because Pex just kills the rest of his team. But he stays in again, as we'll see. I mean, I don't think this was a misplay on my part. I think the play was to go Gallade there. If I got Pex in this turn, on this Flare Blitz, you know, this Marowak would have very little health left. I'd be able to click Scald on whatever came in. If Vanilluxe came in, I killed it. If Hydreigon came in, I could recover on it forever. If Gallade then came in, it would be burnt. And I feel like it could be burnt anyway. But either way, I think this was potentially, I don't know. It was definitely a hard play to make. Because I think from my position, Pex comes in, say this stays in, and then he sacks Marowak and he gets Gallade in. Then I get to Baneful Bunker, and he doesn't know if I'm Scarf or not. If I'm Scarf with a Body Slam wins if I switch to Pex here, and I get Marowak dead. So I feel like not checking if I actually am Scarf was kind of a misplay on Critic's part, and he could have definitely lost from his position if I actually was. Because I was playing it like Scarf, and I was hoping he would think it was, but I guess he just didn't think it was. Tauros dies, Marowak dies, and then Pex just sort of loses to Gallade. He taunts just to make sure I lose. That's good on him. Because there is always that chance that, you know, maybe Zen Headbutt misses during this exchange with Gallade. So he brings it in. I think, oh, you know, what if he misses Zen over and over? He hits it and he flinches me. It doesn't matter. I lost. And then I lose 2-0. And he just poison jabs me for the finish. I wasn't Scarf Tauros. I'm very sad that he didn't think I was. I even called it Scarf Tauros. How could he not believe me? I think that was a great battle, though. Critic definitely made the right plays. I definitely misplayed early on. I shouldn't have. I played awfully around Weezing for the most part. I feel like I should have just let that be something that Pex could deal with. Overall, I think late game, I think I played fine, and I think I played that Tauros turn correctly. But otherwise, I think using this team, I definitely need to try it more offensively. I need to try to play my early game better, not just lead matchups, but like early game as a whole. Just like clearing out a team for my win con. I also need more concrete win cons. Like, work up Tauros was kind of a pipe dream here, because there really wasn't anything it could work up on. Like, Wheezing kind of hard-walled my set, because it was Levitate, so Earthquake didn't hit. But otherwise, I think I played this fine. I'm fine taking the 0-2 loss, even if the rest of my matches are a little scary, especially my 7-8-9 being Puppy Drum Primal. I think I do still have a chance of playoffs. I mean, it's week 2 for God's sake. You know, overall I'm what am I? Yeah, overall I'm 1-1 with +2 differential. That's a fine start. I'm excited for the rest of the season, and I'm glad I got this match over with early. Because Critic's team is kind of disgusting. He first picked Zeraora, and then got Gallade Hydreigon on the way back, and then was able to get a Hail Core, really nice offense. The only issue with Critic's team is kind of his lack of hazards, his rock weakness, but otherwise, Critic's team was definitely very scary for me. And for a team without a rock type, you know, it meant I kind of relied on my rocks being up there a lot. But yeah, GG. I made this late because I kind of forgot, and we did our match late. A good match, though.